On a quiet evening in the midst of World War II, an Allied airbase in Belgium became the setting for one of the war's most bizarre and enduring mysteries. On November 23, 1944, a B-17G flying fortress appeared in the sky, executed a near-perfect landing in an adjacent field, and sat with its engines running. The only problem? There was no one inside. This is the strange but true story of the Phantom Fortress, an aircraft that seemed to fly and land itself. For the Royal Air Force anti-aircraft unit stationed at the base in Kortenberg, Belgium, it was a calm evening. That peace was suddenly broken by the sight of a massive 45,000-pound B-17G flying fortress descending at high speed, its landing gear already down. The unscheduled and aggressive approach suggested an emergency. The RAF crew prepared for the worst, but the bomber skillfully avoided the anti-aircraft guns and belly-landed in a nearby field. Although the propellers snapped off upon impact, 3 of the 4 engines continued to roar. The ground crew and other witnesses waited, expecting a shaken flight crew to emerge from the damaged aircraft. After 15 minutes, there was still no sign of life. After 20 minutes of suspense, Major John Crisp ordered his men to cautiously approach the American bomber. After finding and opening an entry hatch, Major Crisp entered the aircraft alone. Inside, he made an astonishing discovery. The plane was completely empty. A B-17G typically carries a 10-man crew, yet there was no one aboard. Instead, Crisp found nearly a dozen parachutes neatly packed and ready for use, suggesting the crew had not needed to make a hurried exit. Further inspection only deepened the mystery. The top-secret Sperry bomb site was found undamaged. A codebook on the navigator's desk contained a handwritten note: "Bad flak." However, there was no significant flak damage to the aircraft. Scattered on the floor were fleece-lined flight jackets and half-eaten chocolate bars, clear signs of recent human presence. Major Crisp proceeded to shut down the 3 still-running engines, left to ponder how an empty plane had managed such a feat. Investigators quickly identified the plane's serial number, tracing it to the 91st Bombardment Group operating out of East Anglia, England. The central question was, what had happened to its crew? Had they perished? Amazingly, all 10 crew members were soon located, safe and sound, at another Allied base in Belgium. Their story began hours earlier during a bombing run on an oil refinery in Merseburg, Germany. The pilot, Lieutenant Harold de Bolt, was flying at low altitude when the plane came under intense German anti-aircraft fire. The B-17G was struck, taking hits in the bomb bay and losing 1 engine. Losing altitude and battling turbulent weather, Lieutenant de Bolt struggled to keep the damaged bomber airborne. He ordered his crew to jettison all non-essential equipment, but it wasn't enough. When a second engine overheated and failed, he made the difficult decision to abandon the aircraft. Believing the plane was doomed, de Bolt aimed it toward Brussels, engaged the primitive Sperry A3 autopilot to keep it in level flight, and was the last to bail out. The crew parachuted to safety, assuming their bomber would crash into the countryside within minutes. The crew's account created more questions than answers, as it directly contradicted the evidence on the ground. Conflicting damage reports. The crew reported catastrophic damage and 2 failed engines. Yet, the ground crew in Kortenberg saw the plane approach with what appeared to be all 4 engines functioning. The landing gear. The primitive autopilot was only capable of maintaining level flight, not complex maneuvers like takeoffs or landings. Who, or what, had lowered the landing gear for the belly landing? The unused parachutes. While the crew had bailed out, the discovery of a full complement of unused parachutes on board remained a puzzling detail. The most widely accepted explanation is a cascade of incredible coincidences. When the 10-man crew bailed out, the bomber was instantly lightened by nearly 2,000 pounds. This reduction in weight, combined with the denser air at a lower altitude, may have been enough for the 2 remaining engines to stabilize the aircraft. It is theorized that the overheated engine cooled down and restarted on its own, a known quirk of the B-17's engines. The plane, now stabilized by its autopilot, entered a long, gentle descent. By sheer chance, its flight path ended over a flat, open beet field. which served as a perfect natural runway for a belly landing. The landing gear remains the most perplexing part of the story, with no definitive explanation ever found. The aircraft, nicknamed the Phantom Fortress by the press, was later repaired and returned to service before the end of the war. Despite a plausible theory rooted in coincidence, the story remains one of World War II's most fascinating aviation legends. The image of an empty, 22-ton bomber navigating a hostile sky and executing a near-perfect landing on its own is a powerful testament to the unpredictable nature of war.